So we are nearly at the end of the Isopanisad. We will discuss mantras 17 and 18, the last two mantras. First mantra 17, which is on the board. That this mantra 17 is how devotional service prepares us for passing the exam of death. It are prayers offered to Isha. We are discussing the Isha Upanishad. Isopanisad. That's only Isha is the Supreme Lord. Prayers are offered to Isha. The world is full of dangers. Let me end this life and turn back to the Supreme. That is the theme of this verse. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Vayo Anilam Amritam. Atedam Basmantam Sariram.
Atedam Basmantam Sariram.
Om Katasmarikitam Smara.
Om Katasmarikitam Smara.
Katasmarikitam Smara.
Katasmarikitam Smara.
Vayo, air of life. Anilam, total reservoir of air. Amritam, indestructible. Atta, no. Idam, this. Basmantam, after being turned to ashes. Sariram, body. Om, O Lord. Kata, O enjoyer of all sacrifices. Smara, please remember. Pritam, all that has been done by me. Smara, please remember. Kato, O Supreme Beneficiary. Smara, please remember. Kitam, all that I have done for you. Smara, please remember. Let this temporary body be burned to ashes, and let the air of life be merged with the totality of air. Now, O my Lord, please remember all my sacrifices, and because you are the ultimate beneficiary, please remember all that I have done for you. Please repeat. Let this temporary body be burned to ashes. And let the air of life be merged with the totality of air. Now, O my Lord, please remember all my sacrifices. And because you are the ultimate beneficiary, please remember all that I have done for you. Makyana Kivandasyansanansanasnatan Sakshvanitam Yena Tasmai Sigave Chichitayamanopistam Stapitam Yena Bhutam Ramrupkadamyam Dadatisvam Nama Om Krishna Padai Krishna Prasthaya Bhutalishamate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namaha Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pacharani Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paskachani Desata. Srila Prabhupada ki. So, back to this on 17. How the Vaishnava service prepares us for passing the exam of death. It is a very intense emotion to look at what will happen when you die. What will happen after death is a serious matter. Gravity is required. Srila Prabhupada. Why do we need to remember the Lord? The Lord is always remembering. This call for help is not on the pure devotional level, mean this prayer. It's not on the pure devotional level. The pure devotee just surrenders and does not pray for anything for himself. That does not mean that we have to look down on this prayer. The fact that someone is preparing for death and realizes that everything is in the hands of the Lord is glorious. There is a need to prepare for death. Prabhupada, these are the different paragraphs in the purport. The material body is a foreign dress but must be given up. That's the first. So the best way to give up the body is surrendering to the Lord, not by going to the Brahmajyoti. That is not the right thing to do. The importance of the last thoughts, Prabhupada discussed. And Krishna never forgets our service to him. Krishna's mercy is never available, is available to devotional service. Srimad Bhagavatam elaborates on this verse and all the other verses. Then the last two paragraphs prepare for death by devotional practice. So the material body is a foreign dress. The body is foreign to the soul. Everyone must die. The importance is what we think about at the time of death. Krishna will remember our service at the time of our death. Prepare for death by devotional service. That now, in the next verse, the material body is a foreign dress, and that must be given up. These are different attitudes towards the body. Karma. Of course, this refers to karma kanda of those who want material enjoyment. Yes, that's the meaning of karma here. Those who want material enjoyment. They romanticize the body. They think that the body is a source of great pleasure. What is their mentality? The body is a source of pleasure. It is the very purpose of existence, they think, to enjoy the body. The supreme goal of life is sense gratification. The body is romanticized, that it is a great source of pleasure, they think. But the body's capacity is limited. It is an imagination that it is a great source of pleasure. The body is the road to pleasure that turns into a roadblock for pleasure. That's, yes. If a person becomes philosophically inclined, then he understands the body is a trap. Not perpetuating material desires is illusion. Actually, the body makes us forget our spiritual identity. It makes us think that we are the body. That well, why are we entangled in this network of the body? It's material desires. The body is filled with urine, blood, organs, etc. Poor Rav in the Bhagavatam, he comes to his senses after his experience with Urvasi, trying to enjoy a body made of all abominable substances. When one realizes that, then one comes to the point of extremely rejection of the body. That's the opposite. But in Bhakti, we don't do that. In Bhakti, we use the body in the service of the Lord. And the example that Prabhupada always gives is Sabai Mana Krishna Padaya van de over Shamspakun Tranan Vatman. Kauman Nirmartnatna Sutimskatsia Satkatrodai. A few verses more. It's Maharaj Ambarich. He used always his mind to think of Krishna. That meditating on Krishna in his mind, meditating on the lotus feet of the Lord. His words in describing the glories of the Lord. His hands in cleansing the Lord's temple. And his ears in hearing the words spoken by Krishna or about Krishna. So in Bhakti, we utilize the body. So Prabhupada says that one must take care of the body. Now, so that in the future, that, our body can continue to be utilized in Krishna's service. So romanticizing and demonizing the body are extremes of the pendulum. That extremes of the pendulum. You know what's a pendulum? Yeah.
Ein Pendel. Wie bei einer Uhr.
Ein Pendel.
Yeah. It goes one side and then the other. It's extreme. Extreme. Extreme sides of the pendulum. That, but yes, the urge comes from the Atma. The desires come from the soul. Matter is dead and cannot experience anything. The body is a foreign dress and we need to give it up. Yeah. Many become eager to give it up. I don't know in Germany, but in Belgium you have euthanasia. If the body gives you too much trouble, you can ask for euthanasia. Euthanasia? Yeah? Euthanasia. But, how many like that? Then, so the soul becomes dressed by its desires. The dress is the body. The body has to be given up because of, yeah. Well, we receive the body because of our past desires, cultivated in our previous life. Therefore, to cultivate a spiritual body, we are using the body in the service of the Lord. We want our spiritual body. How do we utilize the body? The act of leaving the body. The body will give us up, but we will not give up the body because we have attachment. Therefore, we get a new body. Until our subtle body becomes purified, we get a new body. When one becomes old and invalid, then still we do not give up the desire to enjoy. Give up the body means giving up the desire to enjoy the body. Give up the mentality. That's giving up the body. The whole process of spiritual life is to purify the subtle body. Purify the heart, the mind, it's the subtle body. Then when the body comes to its ends, the subtle body will not create another gross body. The process of Krishna consciousness is giving up attachment to enjoy the body. Becoming Krishna conscious means changing our desires. Instead of desiring to enjoy, we desire to give pleasure to Krishna, for him to enjoy. That's the change of desires we have to undergo. So we give up these material desires, yes?
So it's about, we say the soul then starts like a body. Yeah, one of the subtle bodies, so the desires are getting away, so consequently, and the soul will have only the desire to the soul.
Yeah, to give pleasure to Krishna, to give enjoyment to Krishna. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. But these material desires we give up by Bhakti, devotional service. That's the only way to uproot them completely, by devotional service. Yes?
No, actually, do you have an idea how does the soul perceive the moment of death? I have already some experience in my family. I saw the struggle of the attachments which were there in unclarified situations in the family. How do you know the soul perceives the moment of death? Is it mutual for the soul, or is it suffering, and what?
It depends on your situation. Are you speaking about devotees or materialists?
For my life.
You have to understand that for non-devotees, their life is the body. And that's their life. So everything what they imagine, what they ask, will end. For them, that is very real. They will lose everything, what they think they are. And the soul goes in oblivion, mostly to animal life or whatever. It's completely covered. So that's, yeah. But if you think this is going to be my end, there's nothing anymore. My consciousness will be gone. Which will fulfill their desire. At the time of death, there is no consciousness, practically no awareness. But, mostly it's like that. But the Krishna conscious person is different. That You can read about Dhruva Maharaj, how he experienced that as a flash. Narada Muni also in his previous one. That the consciousness is not reduced. Even Bharat Maharaj, he had the body of a deer. His higher consciousness was not harmed. He had still the higher consciousness, the body of a deer. But yeah, material desires mean we must give up by bhakti. And so the process is to learn the art of bhakti. All things will die by the course of nature. Animals are driven by instinct, but humans have intelligence and can derive to a certain extent reality beyond the body. Srila Prabhupada talks about spiritual evolution, that the soul goes from lower to higher forms. He does not speak about the evolution of bodies. No. So, moment, yeah. So the last thought, that we will remember that in which we have sought shelter during our lives. Yeah, if we have taken shelter of Krishna during our life, we will take shelter at Krishna at the time of death. If the greatest shelter I sought is watching cricket, then our death will be a disaster that experience. That anyway, or football or whatever. If some found shelter in alcohol and cues, then there is always the chance of relapse. Whenever there is reversal or depression, the default function of the mind is to take shelter in which it is habituated. That even after becoming devotees, we have to be careful, as our mind will gravitate to our attachment. What is the test? If we leave the mind idle, then so many thoughts will come into our mind. And as such, we can get to know more about our conditioned self. The mind is idle, and the mind immediately is going where the mind thinks that pleasure is available. Antakal samamishan smaran mukfa kalevam. Yam yam bapi param tabam. Yam yam sma param param teant ante kalevam. Tam tam vet kantya satasat baba babitum. What we remember at the time of death, we will attain again. If we are attached to the enjoyment of the body, then we will remember the enjoyment of the body. That it is not a chance game. So, if we remember Krishna during our life, even if we cannot remember Krishna at the time of death, Krishna will remember us. And that's the next point. Animisha and Nimisha. Animisha keeps eyes always open to our service. Nimisha, it closes our eyes to our mistakes. So Krishna can do both Animisha and Nimisha. Animisha, the devotee notices the service of the devotee. Nimisha, he closes his eyes when we make accidental mistakes. The purpose of the coach is to focus on the potential of the athlete and help him to develop that potency and to eradicate the faults. That's what Krishna does. So Draupadi brought some fruits to Krishna with a knife to cut fruits. When Krishna used the knife to cut the fruits, he cut his finger and blood started to come out. Then Draupadi ripped a part of her sari and started to bandage the finger. Krishna was peaceful, but Draupadi was concerned, and Krishna said, I will remember this service and repay you for this. For this, Krishna gave her unlimited sari in return. Then Duryodhana and the others tried to disrobe her. So Krishna did this for the sake of Lila. He let blood manifest from his body. Also Putan, when as a baby, Krishna killed Putan, sucking the live hair out of her breast. He overlooked the faults of Putan. That Putan, in her previous life, she was a wife of Bali Maharaj. When Vamandev appeared as young Krishna in the form of a young brahmachari, she felt love for Vamandev, attracted. And then Vamandev took his 3 steps and took everything away from Bali Maharaj, she wanted to kill him. So these 2 aspects were there. But then when later she became Putan, and when she took the form of a beautiful woman, because she was a Rakshasi, could take any form by their mystic power. Everyone was enchanted by her beauty. And when she offered her breast to the baby Krishna, she became very attracted to Krishna and felt motherly love. But then she gave him the breast and wanted to kill her because there was poison on her breast. But Krishna took only the love part, not the other part, the so-called fault, and brought her to the spiritual world. Practically, in a previous life, she was the wife of Bali Maharaj, and Bali Maharaj was the grandson of Prahlad Maharaj, so she was a devotee. Interesting. This is Krishna. Krishna always remembers our service. Krishna is noticing, and Krishna will reward for every single service that we do. It is not that we want a reward for our service, but we want only to serve Krishna. Even if there is no direct reciprocation, we know that Krishna is watching every single service we do. Krishna never forgets the service that we do for him. He's unfalling love. Krishna is ever waiting, ever willing, ever working. He's in our heart and waits for us to return back to him. A person waits for another person for 1 hour and he becomes irritated. But Krishna waits with unlimited patience. Krishna is waiting even if we forget him or become against him. He's never upset with us. Nothing can stop from Krishna loving us. There is nothing I can do from the sun rising, yet I can close my eyes and not see the light. Krishna is ever working. Gajendra prays, I surrender unto you. Please liberate me. Have mercy on me. Oh my Lord, you never get tired. The Lord is constant, trying to get us back to him. What little work we do to turn to him is very tiny, what the Lord does for us. Even if I express my gratitude for the Lord, then still it will not be enough. The Lord internally and externally is working to purify us. Externally as gurus, sadhu and Sastri. So we cannot let the so-called love of this world to become substitutes for our love to Krishna. But now is the time for practicing. The present is all we have. And that's the all we ever have. Our mind is lamenting and planning. The mind is going to the past and the future, and we lose the present. You try to chant Hare Krishna, and your mind says, "Oh, you should plan. You should do this today." But with that tomorrow. Or this person said this to you yesterday. And the mind takes you to the past or the future, and you lose the present. But we have only the present. We often treat the present as unimportant. We think that the future is important. If we have an uncaring attitude towards the present, then we lose the present. We need to purify ourselves. And now is the moment to purify ourselves. We will have similar distractions. We will have distractions in our life. But it brings the urgency to us to purify ourselves. We shouldn't postpone spiritual practice for the future. Spiritual practice has to be done now, cultivated now. Right now, whatever I have, let me offer that to Krishna. If we practice devotional service with a devotional attitude, we can make spiritual progress. Good, that is mantra 17. A lot to say about that. I've guided a number of devotees for preparing them for leaving the body. Anyway, any questions on this point? Yes.
Thank you so much. Is it proper to recommend when the family member of the devotee gives up his or her body, and this family member was not a devotee, to read this mantra at the moment of death, that they maybe have some contact with the person?
It depends. This depends on the circumstance. We have to be careful. We have also to respect the person and what their beliefs were and so on. That there's no need to try fanatically to trying to give Krishna consciousness. It doesn't work. Yeah. It's not easy to understand the importance of death. But, my friend who also passed away. That Amsarata Krishna Pawan. He was from Gujarat. I was there when his mother passed away, also when he passed away. His mother was very special. She had 8 children. And they moved from Gujarat to Kenya. That is East Africa. And then his father died young, and his mother had to take care of 8 children. Then a few years later, in 1974, Idi Amin who was the dictator of this Zambia of anyway, that because he threw all the Indians out in the country, so they are a danger for our economy. That was Nairobi, I think, Nairobi. Yeah. But anyway, at that time, 1974, because most of these Gujaratis, 150 years ago, they were moved from Gujarat to East Africa, Nairobi, Zambia, and so on. That were British colonies. And India was also under the Indian Raj Empire. But then when in 1974, they all moved back to England because they were thrown out of the country. They were worshippers of Krishna. They had their own temples and so on. And they arrived with more than 100,000 from Heathrow in England. And they went to many stayed in London, Leicester, and all other places there. But then his mother with the children also moved to England. But anyway, I visited her with my friend a few times. I think that was 2016. I already taken sannyas. And when the time came that she was going to leave the body, all of our family members were around. And Amsarati Krishna told to everyone, when she leaves, don't cry. This is a sacred moment. Don't cry. That we were all. I was standing at her feet, and Prabhupada's my mantra was what Prabhupada's tape was going with chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. So she was hearing Prabhupada that and at the certain moments she moved with her eyes like, now I'm going. Then the last breath came out. And a few moments after that, everyone started to cry with 30 people. They couldn't hold themselves. That was completely in control. But she was a very pious lady. She did also a lot of service for the temple. Not following a sadhana or something, but that was an auspicious passing away. Anyway, I've much more experience about devotees leaving their body. But there are different situations. You don't know. Every situation has been different. But always auspicious, devotees will leave. Always auspicious. You can feel that. Always. Good. Let's go to mantra 18 then, the last mantra. Achnenaya Shupatarache Asman Vishvani Deva Vachunani Vidvam Yo Diasmach Yuhuranameno Oyistantim nama uktim videma. Acne. Oh my Lord, as powerful as fire. Naya, kindly lead Supatha by the right path. Raye, for reaching you. Asman, as Vishvani, oh, Deva, oh my Lord. Vayunani, actions. Vitvan, the knower. Yuyode, kindly remove. Asmat, from us. Yohuranam, all hindrances on the path. Eha, all vices. Buyistam, most numerous. Te, unto you. Nama Oktim, words of obeisance. Videma, I do. Translation by A.C. Bhakti. O my Lord, as powerful as fire, O omnipotent one, now I offer you all obeisance falling on the ground at your feet. O my Lord, please lead me on the right path to reach you. And since you know that you know all that I have done in the past, please free me from the reactions to my past sins, so that there will be no hindrance to my progress. Please repeat. O my Lord, as powerful as fire, O omnipotent one, now I offer you all obeisance, falling on the ground at your feet. O my Lord, please lead me on the right path to reach you. And since you know all that I have done in the past, please free me from the reactions to my past sins, so that there will be no hindrance to my progress. 17. 18 is not there. Here's 18. Last mantra of Isopanisad. So, prayers to Ishvar to reveal himself in that time. So this is the holy Isopanisad. You can memorize the contents very easy. First part is about the Isavasya principle. What is it? That's the first question. Then how to live in harmony of it, and avoid what stops you to live in harmony with it, with the principle. And then how to develop spiritual vision. We have heard about the different categories of devotees. In the two first verses, 4 and 5, 5 and 6, the Uttam Adhikar, his vision, is described how he sees the Lord everywhere. That and then how to develop this spiritual vision. And then right and wrong knowledge, and then right and wrong practice. And then the necessity for praying for the mercy of the Lord, get the mercy. So these are basic principles of devotional service. But, so this is the second mantra of the last section. That So it's not just a prayer here for maintaining oneself or for maintaining oneself in the world. No. That people think that the purpose of God is to help them in this world. It's true that God is willing to help us in this world. But ultimately, Krishna wants to take us out of this world, back to Godhead, back to the spiritual world. The purpose of this prayer is to remove the obstacles of going back to Godhead. So the prayer is very much devotional in its mood and its content. So in the purport, we have different parts. First, we have the how to remove obstacles on the path, achieving perfection, the gradual and the quick way, Srila Prabhupada speaks about. And then how the omnipotent devotee guides, omnipotent Lord guides a devotee. So from the first paragraph, the Prabhupada writes, the Lord is addressed as fire because he can burn anything into ashes, including the sins of the surrendered soul. Our past reactions causes us misery in two ways. External as the problems that we face in our life. We may get sick or lose our job. We may have some problems in the society in which we are living, and we may have to leave from that place sometime. We may have to relocate at certain situations, but we also get internal problems. What are internal problems? Our lust, anger, greed, envy, pride, illusion. They rise up and make us drive away from Krishna. These are also sinful reactions. External physical reactions, internal psychological reactions. The way of conditioning comes and shakes us in the boat. The thoughts in the mind are not expressed until they have been expressed physically. Then we call that a slip or fall. We may all have slips and falls in our spiritual life. We let the past conditions take control. No one can blame the past conditions for our present condition. It is like blaming gravity for the sinking of a ship. Gravity is there for all boats in the ocean. If the boat is managed carefully, then the boat will not sink. Gravity is responsible for the sinking of the boat, but gravity is the ultimate cause. So gravity is not responsible for the sinking of the boat, but gravity is the ultimate cause. So gravity is a common cause for everyone. The ultimate cause for everyone is Krishna. Krishna does not cause our fall down. There are laws of material nature, and if we do not follow the laws or protect us from the laws, then we will fall. That's an important principle. That I remember always Bhishma Dev is in the Bhagavatam, is lying on the bed of arrows, and he speaks to Yudhishthira. He's going to leave his body soon. He gives instructions. And he says to Yudhishthira Maharaj, if you follow always the principles of religion, you respect the Brahmins and you follow the advice of the Brahmins and you follow the principles of religion, then you will be protected by these same principles. It's interesting. So if we always follow the advice of Prabhupada and the spiritual master and Krishna, Sadhu, Sadhu, Guru Sadhu Sangha, Guru Sadhu Shastra, then we are protected by Guru Sadhu Shastra. Then we are protected by Krishna. So that's up to us. If there is a hole in a boat and the boat sinks, we cannot blame gravity for the sinking of the boat. What is the cause? The person who made the hole or did not repair it. We can never blame our condition of our faults. The process of devotional service is like a boat. We are in the material ocean, and in the ocean we will be dragged by our conditions, but in the boat of devotional service, we are safe. Apsitas, Babiyus, Havabyo, Papakitama, Sabagana, Plavanifa, Kitchnam Sandrashyasi. Once we are on the boat of devotional service, of transcendental knowledge, you will be able to cross over the ocean of material suffering. 436, Bhagavad Gita. So even if you are considered the most sinful of all sinners, when you are situated in the boat of transcendental knowledge, you will be able to cross over the ocean of miseries. So the boat is competent to take over the ocean if we don't jump out of the boat. To stay on the boat, you must do 4 things every day. Follow the regulative principles. Chant your rounds. Hearing the Bhagavatam, and do service for Krishna. If you miss one of these 4, you are in danger. If you do these 4 every day, you stay on the boat. Yes.
You mentioned only 3.
4.
What brings you to seeking of the Bhagavatam videos? Out of 4 principles.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So the boat can take us to the other side. If we don't jump out of the boat, then we stay on the boat. If we practice devotional service and continue secretly sinful activities, then we make holes in the boat. When the storm comes up, then we take shelter of Krishna. In all situations, gravity can be blamed. We have to take responsibility. So when we are overcome by Maya, we are not just victims. It's easy to say, the victim role. It are we who choose to do sinful activities. So Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport. Such vikarma is enacted by my son. I tell him not to call me, but he doesn't hear me. Such vikarma is enacted by the illusioned living entities simply for sense gratification. And thus such activities become hindrances on the path of self-realization, vikarma, sinful activities. How does one overcome all of this? One is the gradual way and one is the rapid way, Prabhupada explains. The gradual way is that one starts to culminate Brahminical culture. The gradual way is striving vigorously to develop certain qualities. The gradual way, Prabhupada says, is Srimad Bhagavatam 6.1.13. And that's an important verse. Sometimes the devotees ask me, I cannot control my mind. I cannot concentrate while chanting. Problems with the mind. That okay, that's not happening. That the problems with the mind. What can I do? Then I quote this verse, 6:113. The verse starts with to concentrate the mind, what you have to do. Tapassa brahmacharyana samena sadamena cha jehena satyasabhyam yamena niyamena. To concentrate the mind, one must observe a life of celibacy and not fall down. One must undergo the austerity of voluntary giving up sense enjoyment. One must then control the mind and senses, give charity, be truthful, clean, and non-violent, follow the regulative principles, and chant the holy name of the Lord. A lot of things to do. That austerity of voluntary give up sense enjoyment. It's not only following the four regulative principles. That one must control the mind and senses by engaging them in devotional service. We do that. And give charity, be truthful, especially with ourselves, be clean, non-violent, follow the regulative principle, and chant the holy name of the Lord. So by this practice, one becomes purified. That's the gradual way and the difficult way. So this may take a long time. The quick way is to accept the spiritual master and learn devotional service, and then one can become quickly purified. Become purified is like removing the fog. Fog is everywhere around, difficult to remove, but when the sun rises, it dissipates. When we develop devotion for Krishna and chant his holy name, then Agam Duvasti Karsneya, we become, the fog is going, we become purified. Because this is in the 6th canto, it's the introduction to the story of Ajamil, 6:115. Keshit kevalya bhaktya vasudeva parayana agamdum vastikarsnya nirami vavaskaram. Only a rare person who has adopted complete unalloyed devotional service to Krishna can uproot the weeds of sinful action with no possibility that they will revive. He can do this simply by discharging devotional service, just as the sun can immediately dissipate fog by its rays. Anyway, I used to give a seminar on that, just on these two verses, but no time to go into it. But it is more effective because we depend in devotional service, we depend on the strength of the Lord rather than on our limited strength. So, yes, rise and fall in Krishna consciousness. Akarma, rapid elevation to Krishna consciousness. Karma, gradual elevation by karma kanda. And vikarma, degradation due to vikarma. That's dangerous. So akarma is devotional service, means we take the elevator. Karma kanda is a slow way up, and after many lifetimes you become maybe liberated. Mostly it doesn't happen. But one becomes deviated. And vikarma, sinful activity, takes us down to the lower species, lower plants. Today, most people are engaged in vikarma. Vikarma. Our goal is not to laugh with people, but to try to elevate them. We should not be contemptive of anyone. That's certainly not. We are all prisons in this prison of the material world. One prison criticizes another prison. It's useless. We should not be contemptive of anyone, but we do not want to be dragged down by them. That's the point. We don't associate with them. We should not have a sense of superiority. No one wants to be devalued. So moral and legal activities are mostly in the realm of karma. It will depend on the devotee's consciousness, karma or vikarma. When our consciousness is one of service to the Lord, then all our activities become akarma. In this world, we cannot avoid some contamination. Fire is covered by smoke, but the devotee tries to spiritualize all activities. But even on the path, there are obstacles. The devotee may fall down. So we have material and spiritual activities. Material activities we must do material activities for the maintenance of the body, and spiritual activities through devotional service. But through the material activities, one can be dragged down. While doing karma, one may fall down to vikarma. How does the devotee become protected? By the practice of devotional service. By the practice of devotional service, what happens? One gets strength, one gets determination, one gets intelligence, but intelligence not to identify with the mind, but observe the mind, strength. That strength comes from devotional service, and by following the four regulative principles, otherwise one falls into the trap. If one chants in the morning, one surrounds with great attention and has a good morning program, then during the day you get spiritual strength. But unless one is fixed in devotional service, we may have occasional relapse in sin. So in the beginning, that may happen. If a person is engaged steady in devotional service, then these relapses should be overlooked. The devotee should be encouraged to continue practicing devotional service. Srila Prabhupada gives an explanation of the omnipotence of the Lord in the purple. Such is the omnipotence of the Lord. He can make a man born in a Brahmin family as degraded as a low-born dog-eater, and he can also make a low-born dog-eater superior to a qualified Brahmin simply on the strength of devotional service. So Srila Prabhupada is talking of the omnipotence of the Lord in terms of the transformation of the heart. He can bring about by the process of Bhakti. Krishna is lifting a person up. Krishna supplies the rope to come out of the well. So we become pure by Krishna's grace. Our duty is to constantly perform devotional service, avoiding falling down. Yato nishalati manashansnamastayam tatastato nyamyeta atmaneva fasamnayat. Whenever the mind is flickering, the mind is flickering, is of unsteady nature. When it wanders, we have to bring it back under control always. So we have to learn to observe the mind and keep it under control. Srila Prabhupada explains the omnipotence of the Lord in two ways. One who is at the bottom of the lake, the Lord can just pull this person up. Even a dog eater can be elevated to the highest position. The dog eating is indicating the mentality of the person, because the consciousness of the person is so low, he eats such things. Just Srila Prabhupada says that the Lord can make one born in a Brahmin family, one who is born in a Brahmin family, more degraded than a dog eater. Does the Lord want to make one more degraded than a dog eater? Does the Lord want someone to fall down, the Lord does not deliberately does not deliberately anyone make fall down, but the Lord controls the powers in material nature. So Maya Sakti is also Krishna's energy. Saintliness does not only come by the grace of the Lord. A Brahmin is considered very deliberated, but if the Brahmin does not use the rope of Dharma, he will fall down. The mind is extremely powerful. The only way the mind can overcome is taking shelter of Krishna. Krishna says, among the senses, I am the mind. The devotee should remain above the gravity of material desires. That negligence in practicing devotional service properly is a cause of challenges. So yes, have more faith in his ability than doubt about our own ability. So that is the omnipotence of the Lord, means that whatever my limitations, Lord Krishna's strength is stronger than my limitations. Krishna is omnipotent and he will help me. He will help me. Once we are fixed on Krishna, then that lifts us up. Srimad Bhagavatam. Prapadamalam vachatapriyasya Shanktya bhavaryasya ariparasha Pikarma yasot patitam katanchit Donoti sarvam ridishani vishtam. One who has thus given up all other engagement and has taken fully shelter of the lotus feet of Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is very dear to the Lord. Indeed, if such a surrendered soul accidentally commits some sinful activity to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is seated in everyone's heart, immediately takes away the reaction to such sin. So that gives hope. In the purport, the Lord is so kind to the devotee who is fully surrendered to his lotus feet, that even though the devotee sometimes fall into the entanglement of vikarma, acts against the Vedic direction, the Lord at once rectifies such mistake within the heart. This is because the devotees are very dear to the Lord. So this verse gives us faith that Krishna wants to help us. Krishna, the devotees are very dear to the Lord. These verses gives us faith that Lord Krishna wants to help us. Krishna is in our heart, not to catch us, but is our coach. Of course, that we have a battle against our anarthas. We go from crisis to crisis. That helpless defeat. We try to fight with our conditioning. With our conditioning. Or we actually try. When someone tells us not to eat meat, fish, eggs, sex, intoxication, we say, yeah. Or, of course, someone tells, give up meat, eggs, no sex, intoxication. We say, forget Krishna consciousness. That it's impossible to live without these things. But no, we overcome that. There is struggle and defeat. The devotee decides, I'm going to fight determinedly. Then when the temptation comes, the struggle comes. At least one is putting up a fight. Struggle and success. Here one thinks, my goal is not to enjoy and go back to Godhead. Also struggle is there, but one gradually moves to success. Most devotees, they become strong enough to give up the strong sinful activities, but one does face the struggle. We inquire from devotees what to do, what not. Krishna sent us help in the form of devotees, counselors, deities, holy dams, guru, etc. Then effortless success. A devotee has lost the inclination for the temptation. The more one becomes purified, the more this dragging down stops. So this is what's on the screen. That is a sequence we all go through. In the beginning, we are defeated, and we try to follow the principles, but it doesn't happen. We fall back, and then we desire, we want to give it up, and then we get some success, but there is defeat. Then after some times we come over it, and then it becomes effortless. That like getting up in the morning at 4 o'clock. That my Guru Maharaj, when he joined in Mayapur, he said, I was used to sleep till 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. So getting up at 4 o'clock was difficult for me. But the devotees were so merciful. They were, at 4 o'clock, they were lifting me out of the sleeping bag. But then now we say, now, many years later, no problem. I wake up before my alarm clock always. That's true. Yeah, Krishna makes you just up before your alarm clock. I have that also. But it becomes effortless. So it's a struggle we go to. So we need to fight the battle and not stop the nourishment. Keep hearing, chanting, and so on. Never give up. That's never give up. Yeah. So we never lose till we lose hope. So Krishna gives us always opportunities to advance in devotional service. If we fight a war and we think that our weapon is a burden, then we will soon end up in the graveyard. As long as we have our weapons, we may get wounded, but we will never